Meeting of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders is hereby called to order. Madam Clerk, can you please call roll?
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson,
Present.
Freeholder Jones,
Present.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebel,
Here.
Freeholder Toro,
Here.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Here. Thank you, and please stand to salute our flag. I'm going to ask if Freeholder Jones please lead us in that salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence, and in particular, I believe at this time it is appropriate to mention that the Freeholder Board had a loss of one of our Freeholder colleagues, legislative aides, Mr. Mujahid Henry, and just a moment of silence in remembering him as well. Thank you. I have before me a certification from the clerk that this meeting is indeed in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. And ladies and gentlemen, I am so ecstatic to be here tonight in these great chambers, in the chambers of the Township of Orange. And this is a part of my district, this District 3 Freeholder. I have the honor to serve East Orange, South Orange, as well as parts of Newark, in particular the Valesburg section of Newark. I live right on the border of East Orange and Orange, literally on the same block. My building sits as one of the council people on the Orange Township. So that shows you how close we are on the border. So around when it's time for snow season, I never know who's going to come down the block. Is it going to be East Orange or Orange? But it's nice to be able to, to be that close in proximity to two cities in which I'm so proud to represent. As you may know, most of our meetings are held out in the Hall of Records of Newark, but about 8 or 10 times a year we hold our meetings in community in different communities in order to give people an opportunity, or I should say a closer opportunity, to come and see what the freeholders do and let their voice be heard, express their concerns to us directly by going to the people. It's interesting because I don't know when the last year was that the Freeholder Board was actually in the Township of Orange and did this, but I think it's been quite a number of years, and I knew that we had to come back. And I see some elected officials here from the City of Orange. I see the council president, Ms. Donna Williams. Please, you can come forward. And I also see Councilwoman Ms. Adrienne Wooten, if you could come forward as well. Thank you so much for having us here, and I'd like to give you an opportunity to just say some words, and thank you for opening up your chambers to us.
Thank you. And I come before you again. I'm Council President Donna K. Williams, and Councilwoman Wooten is with me, fresh out of our literacy night over at Rosa Parks Community School. And our fire department was there encouraging our students to be public servants as well. So I continue to wear the hat that the fire department is giving out.
It matches your outfit.
So we welcome you. We thank you for coming. We look forward when you come to the City of Orange, our constituents here in the City of Orange, get to see business that you're taking care of on their behalf. So again, thank you, and we welcome you. And please come back anytime.
Hi. How are you doing tonight?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to our great city this afternoon or tonight. It's always a pleasure to meet other public servants. It's always nice to go out to their meetings to see how their meetings go. I see you have a pretty good crowd here. Once again, I just want to say thank you for coming out, and thank you for all the things that you do for us in the city.
And if you will reserve, our business administrator, Chris Harvard, was coming up to welcome you as well. And he's caught in a meeting, but he may be coming up with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you so much for all that you do as public servants. And it's our tradition to talk a little bit about some of the successes of the Freeholder Board when we go to different places. But in 2015, we passed the banking ordinance to cut down on foreclosures, or encourage the cutting down on foreclosures, and encouraging banks to keep working with people to stay in their homes, as well as increase lending to small businesses, women-owned businesses, and minority-owned businesses. And then we did something called Clean Jobs, which the name is in the title. It connects the need to decrease the unemployment rate, create jobs, as well as rid our community of toxins such as lead, asbestos, and brownfield contamination. I see present with us Freeholder Luciano, as well as present with us Freeholder Vice President Gell. And right before public comment session, I will speak to another piece of legislation that we're working on, and that was currently withdrawn, but I'll speak to that, which is also going to be another accomplishment. So I hope you know that not only am I working very hard for the constituents in Orange, but this entire board and this entire body is. Freeholder Levy Jones here is a freeholder at large, as well as Freeholder Patricia Siebold, Freeholder Rufus Johnson, and Freeholder Brendan Gell. So I just hope you know that we have the community's best interest in mind and in heart, and that's who we work for, is you. So with that said, Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay, are there any topics of discussion?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay, so we're going to move to public comment session on the agenda. If there's anyone, and by the way, tonight's meeting is a combined conference board meeting, so we're going to vote on every item tonight as well as discuss it, except for resolution number 8, which was withdrawn. So before I ask for members of the public who want to come forward to talk about any agenda items, I do want to address the resolution, the ordinance number 3, which was withdrawn by the Freeholder Board. And that is an ordinance adopting the finding of the Affirmative Action Committee in establishing a minority and women-owned joint venture set-aside program for the County of Essex. This is something that is very, very dear to us. It is sponsored by Freeholder Jones, Freeholder Johnson, as well as myself. It is expected to also have the support unanimously of this entire board, as well as the county executive. We're still in draft stages, and the draft was not completely finished. What is it? It's something that is going to open up access to minority-owned businesses as well as women-owned businesses to be more competitive in the bid process, because there has been a proven disparity for those types of companies. And we want to make sure that our local businesses have an opportunity to be competitive. And it's something that I believe very strong about. And I often use the term grassroots economic development. When you take a look at the individual, when you take a look at socioeconomic conditions and different things, and try to build in legislation that can give an entity a hand up, not a hand out. And this is a great piece of legislation because it doesn't just take a piece of the pie out, but it's a piece of legislation where everyone gets to eat from the pie, where women-owned companies are encouraged to partner with major companies, larger companies, I should say, as well as minority-owned companies encouraged to go into different partnerships and really thrive together. So again, everyone is eating from that pie, if I could use the analogy of a pie. So is there any member of the public wishing to comment on agenda items only? If so, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock to my right.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr.
Madam
Harris.
President, members of the Freeholder Board, my name is James Harris, and I'm here representing the New Jersey Association of Black Educators. And want to say that I'm very excited to see the item on the agenda dealing with affirmative action and equal opportunity. As you know, this is not my first time coming to speak to this. And I've been riding around the county looking at all kinds of construction that's going on. I'm particularly impressed with the amount of effort that's going into the parks right now, all over the county. There's some impressive things that are happening to improve the parks, but I'm still finding that most of the folks who are doing the work are not diverse. So I'm hoping that somehow or another we will get around to looking at all of those folks who get those contracts and ask them the hard questions about who is the workforce and how we can improve that. The other issue, as you probably know, we took a look at the Stone Plain vocational school, and once again, that workforce did not improve as far as I could see after that meeting that we had in the county exec's office. I thought we were moving toward some of the subprimes getting more of that work, but it appears that things seem to be locked in and the workforce has not changed. And the only reason I keep raising this in Essex County is that we have high unemployment. We have three or four habit districts. And so the education piece has to be connected with job opportunity. And I'm hoping that some of those unions that are doing that work will get much more serious about bringing in African Americans and Latinos and the underrepresented people, so that when the school opens up, and of course, when that school opens up, there's also going to be the issue of who gets employed, who teaches in those districts. And I can tell you that we do have a problem right now because the number of African Americans being certified to teach in the public schools in New Jersey, as well as the charter schools, is declining rather than increasing. So I'm hoping that the Freeholder Board will pay some attention to how do we make sure that that school that's going to be in Newark will have people working in it who look like the folks in the neighborhood where that student is. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your attention and attention, and particularly, I know, Levy Jones and Johnson have been working on this for a while, so I'm hoping that when the final piece is done, that it will do justice to the issues that we've been raising for a while. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is John Sanchez, and I'm president of the Essex County Latino American Chamber of Commerce. And I will agree with the gentleman that just spoke 100%. Yes, it is driven back. We need more programs to give us an opportunity to compete. And that yes, that the jobs are out there. And as the gentleman just said, we do go around and we see all this construction. And when we look at these construction, all we see is license plate from Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New York. And I wonder why are these companies here? Why we're not? And then when I look at the workers of the construction, look again, they don't look like me. So I'm wondering where are these companies coming from? We need to put them back. I'm very glad Bill that President is introducing. I support it 100%. Yes, we do need more opportunity, and I'd like to see this happen soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, I'm not 100% sure if I mentioned this previously. However, June 7th at our next Freeholder meeting, that's whenever the ordinance will be on for introduction. And then the following meeting, it will be on for listing purposes only. And then the meeting after that, so it takes 3 meetings to pass a law. The meeting after that, it will be open for public hearing. And then a vote will occur to pass the law. So June 7th, you can expect for a vote to occur to introduce the legislation. And thank you for coming to the microphone and showing your support.
Madam President, Christopher Harwick, I'm the business administrator for the city of Orange. Madam President, members of the board, on behalf of Mayor Warren, the city council, and the citizens of Orange, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for holding your meeting here. It's always a pleasure to see you all. Mike has been a great resource for us. So it's a pleasure to see you, and thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having us, and thank you for helping us to set up today and making it possible, truly.
That was early.
Well, I'm just happy to see that you guys are here, and I'm hoping, and I don't know that we can have more collaborative efforts with you guys participating in Orange. We have have October the 15th. Also collaboration between Orange, East Orange, Irvington. And I'm hoping that,
Let's pick out the oranges, right, for cancer awareness?
yes, we're going to council. So we would like to see you guys at the beginning of the month in Orange Park. Come out and support us. You're not just come here when you have a meeting. We need to see you more visible. And we see Levy all the time. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But she comes out, you know her. So we need to see, and we see Freeholder Johnson all the time.
Please don't slight me, because I come out and go to the Veterans
As
Parade.
much as I see those two.
Okay, I'm in the area a lot.
I think he knows me well. That's right. We had a conversation.
We did.
So, welcome to Orange. Enjoy your stay. And keep us in mind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Terry Miles, Washington Department Service. Just like to thank the Freeholder Board for supporting us. And we're busy now, it's getting warm. We have a lot of activities out there. We have flag football, we have people playing football, there's a basketball program. And we just like to thank the Freeholder Board for supporting us. And we're trying to do a lot of things for the community out there. We're still the eyes and ears of you guys. And we like to also for the sprinkler park, sprinkler system. We're looking for some more things to happen. Just wanted to thank you guys.
And thank you so much for what you do in the park. It's important to our youth.
Good evening. My name is Laura Ladd. I'm a member of the West Orange Board of Education. I'm with my colleague Sandra Mordecai, current president of the Board of Education, former member of the Board of Education, current councilwoman from West Orange, Michelle Castellino. We just came to thank the freeholders. West Orange has been looking for about 7 years now to get a light in Alyssa Drive, which is where our high school is. Ms. Seabold knows because she was there for a number of years. But we'd like to thank you. The three entities will be working in tandem, financially and otherwise, to secure a light at this place. It's been very dangerous. And I would really like to thank my good friend, Len Luciano. Len came out right after a snowstorm. We stood there with our superintendent of schools, our high school principal, just watching baby drivers trying to get out of this spot. And I just really publicly want to thank you for all of your support. You've always been very good friends with West Orange. And I'm looking forward to getting that light. My colleagues are just going to say 2 seconds and then we're going to scoot out because we all know what we use for light. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Sandra Mordecai. I'm the president of the West Orange Board of Education, and I know many of you. Thank you to Luciano, and I also reached out in the past as well to Brandon Gale, and he's attended some of the pedestrian safety meetings through his aid. And so I'm so happy that you are able to work with us on this, and I'm looking forward to this coming to a successful conclusion very soon. And as Mrs. Lab said, we've worked on this for 7 years. Many parents, many members of the public have come forward to talk about the safety issues here in Pleasant Valley Way and Alyssa Drive. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, all. Thank you, Freeholder, for coming down there. Sorry I couldn't get there that day. Time. But I'd also like to thank your engineer, Sandra G. Voorhees, that's in the back here, also West Orange resident, for working with our engineer as well. And it's a great working relationship, and that's why we're able to get the things done that we were able to, and we just really appreciate it. And it'd be remiss of me if I did not commend you on all the beautiful work that we're doing in all your parks throughout the county, especially in West Orange. And my husband really appreciates the Woodcote Park, and we just had a deal there of the golf course. And the only issue he has is that he now can't get a tea time at 7 a.m. on a Sunday because it's the best kept secret is out. So congratulations, and we appreciate all the time work that you're doing here. If you ever want to come visit West Orange, I know our council chambers is a little tight, but I'm sure my former colleagues, you can make room at the school. So thank you again for all that work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on any issue at all? Okay, Madam Clerk, let the record reflect we have no other members of the public wishing to comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances on introduction and first reading?
Madam President, we have two. We had three, but ordinance number 3 has been withdrawn, and that leaves ordinance 1 and ordinance 2. Ordinance 1, guarantee ordinance of the County of Essex, New Jersey, securing the Essex County Improvement Authority not to exceed $43,250,000 project consolidation revenue refunding bond series 2017 refunding project for the certain purpose of providing additional security therefore and determining certain other matters in connection therewith.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Excuse me, good evening, Madam President, members of the board. Mr. Actor is here to explain how this refunded bond will work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Evening, Madam President. Mark Ackler, Director of Department of Administration and Finance. The next two ordinances pertain to a proposed refunding of improvement authority bonds, specifically portions of the 05 project consolidation refunding bonds they issued and the 2007 project consolidation refunding bonds they issued. We're talking about a not to exceed amount of $43,250,000. We're looking at substantial savings of in excess of $5.4 million by refunding these bonds. The first ordinance is a guarantee ordinance wherein the county will guarantee to make the prompt payment of interest and principal to the extent the authority doesn't do it. And for all intents and purposes, there are bonds anyway. We make the debt service payments on those bonds. So by us guaranteeing the bonds we're already paying the debt service on, we're ensuring that we get our credit rating, which is a AA+, which is extremely high. There's only one above us, AAA. So the guarantee will provide for a more efficient financing, and that will get the lowest rate almost that we could get with a AA+ rating. The second ordinance, if I can, Madam President, it's an ordinance authorizing the execution.
One moment, we have to
Okay, I'm sorry.
because it's an ordinance.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Madam Clerk, please read ordinance number 2.
Ordinance number 2, authorizing the execution or acknowledgement and delivery by the county of certain agreements in connection with the Essex County Improvement Authorities not to exceed $43,250,000 project consolidation revenue refunding bond series 2017 refunding project.
Thank you.
Again, Madam President,
Mr.
on this particular ordinance, we're authorizing the execution of various lease purchase agreements which were in place with the prior financings from the Improvement Authority. They also provide security for the bonds, but ultimately the last stop, if you will, is the county, and we already make the payments. But we need to execute these various lease purchase agreements to allow for the financing to continue.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McInerney?
Yeah.
A couple observations and a question. The total amount of the bonds are for $36,845,000. And asking the administration, I know we need a little flexibility, and that's why we're not to exceed $43,250,000. But if you could just explain the gap between those two numbers there. In addition, what I have now in the application is the closing costs associated with this, and I'll just confirm that the closing costs, which are here, the proposed amounts, are not fully listed. I know we still have some that have to be determined for some of the law firms involved with the closing. However, we do have contracts with them that cap what a firm can charge for a bond issue. But those closing costs are already included in the computation of the savings that were just told to us by Mr. Acker. There's also the expectation that there's a $600,000 premium on this, which is money up front, if you will, as well as over a period of time, present value savings at $5.4 million, just indicated, but that's far beyond the 3% that's required for a refunding. In the one case on the 2007 project consolidation bonds, it's actually 15.45%, and on a net present value for the 2005, 6.24%. So very significant savings on these bonds. What I'd like to see, though, over the next week or so, is the actual amortization schedules between what the existing annual debt service was and what it's going to be now, and how that is allocated. Whether it's going to be pretty much the savings recognized on a straight line basis. We're going to try to get some more of those savings up front, some back. I'd just like to see that before that's over. So the one question I do have is just the differential between the 43 and the 36.
Mr. Acker?
Certainly, Madam President. The bonds to be refunded, the 05 and the 07, total $36,845,000. As of a few days ago, the projected sale amount is $37,775,000. What happens typically with a refunding is to allow for the potential for swings in the market as far as interest rates, which might mean we end up having to issue more than the proposed 37.775, put a not to exceed of a larger amount. To the extent it's not needed at the end of the year, that authorized debt that wasn't issued would just be canceled. So it provides us the flexibility to the extent that there's swings in the market, which typically occur from the time you put your application together to go to the local finance board and when you actually sell the bonds. On the last one, as far as are there upfront savings, or this has been put together to conform with the new local finance board rules, wherein we have to have no more debt in any one year than we did have. We have to have level annual debt service savings, et cetera, et cetera. That will be provided at the closing of the sale. And as far as the issuance, that we already have as well. So I can provide that to Frank.
Thank you. Mr. Paul-Vecchio?
I don't have any questions.
Freeholders? Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, and also for members of the public, the information that is presented is also discussed in leadership meetings, and just want to let you know that, so if you see us moving quickly. But Mr. Acker, thank you, and Mr. McInerney, that was a very detailed report and explanation. Is there a mover and a second to introduce the first ordinance? Moved by Freeholder Toro. Second by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. And please move to ordinance number 2. Are there any questions or comments? Is there a mover and a second to introduce this ordinance? Is there a mover? Moved by Freeholder Jones. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
And so moved.
Thank you. Again, ordinance number 3 has been withdrawn by the Freeholder Board. Are there any ordinances or resolution on second reading and public hearing for listing only?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay. Are there any ordinances or resolution on second reading and public hearing?
Madam President, there is one. Ordinance number O-2017-00002. Ordinance naming the Oval in Essex County Brookdale Park as the Essex County Tom Fleming Athletic Complex in the honor of the long-distance runner and coach Tom Fleming.
Okay. I hereby declare the public hearing on ordinance O 2017-00002 open. If there's any member of the public that would like to come forward and comment for or against this ordinance, please do so now.
Hello, my name is Che Coulter. I'm a Newark, New Jersey resident, but I graduated from Glenridge High School back in 2002. I just want to thank the freeholders and this body for recognizing Mr. Tom Fleming. His daughter went to high school with me in Glenridge, and they're a great family. He was a coach, a business owner, and a mentor. He encouraged us all to continue in our educational pursuits and to contribute something back to our country by making deposits and not withdrawals. So thank you, Madam President, Ms. Timberlake, and the Freeholder Board for recognizing Mr. Tom Fleming. His family will greatly appreciate it, and all of suburban Essex that he's advocated for in different capacities, particularly kids that are probably under the age of 35, but I know he's been mentoring several runners and a lot of folks in the business community as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment?
Madam President and members of the Freeholder Board, I just want to say that I think this is a wonderful thing that's happening. I am a former coach, cross-country runner, and also an educator, and Tom Fleming was extraordinary in all of those areas. If you lived in Montclair, you would see Tom running all over the place, particularly Grove Street into Patterson and back, all around Brookdale Park. And as an educator at Montclair Kimberly Academy, he was extraordinary. And I have to tell you, to have young people see a coach expire at an event is an extremely stressful and devastating thing to have happen. And Tom went to William Patterson and was one of the most successful coaches and runners. Very few people in the state of New Jersey was as successful as a marathon runner, but he didn't run by himself. Every now and then you would see him with 5 or 6 people running through the town, running through the county. So I think this is an excellent way of affirming his contribution to Essex County, and particularly to Bloomfield and Montclair. So I commend you and thank you for this.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment for or against this ordinance? Mr. Paulovecchio?
I don't have any questions.
Mr. McInerney? No questions. Freeholders? Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Thank you, Madam President. Had an opportunity to address this at our last meeting, but again, I just wanted to thank the administration for their quick action in this fitting tribute to Mr. Fleming. I think those who came before us summed it up very, very well. There was actually a run, I believe, in Brookdale Park. Might have been 2 Saturdays ago now, in his memory, a 5K run in his memory that was extremely well attended by folks not only from the Montclair, Bloomfield, and Glenridge community, by the larger Essex County community and the running community. And as was said, he was a person who performed in not only athletically but academically, but performed in his sport at the highest level, and was never too big to spend a little time talking to, whether you ran a 7-minute mile or a 20-minute mile, he would take the time to talk to you about his love of the sport and what it could mean in your own life. So again, I want to thank the county executive and the administration for the quick action on this. And it's a tragedy, but hopefully this will help sustain his memory for generations to come.
Thank you. Beautiful words. Freeholders? Okay. Freeholders, Vice President Gill, do I have a motion? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance O 2017-00002?
Move it, please. Thank you.
Okay, is there a second? Second by moved by Freeholder Vice President Gill, second by Freeholder Jones. Do we have the same mover and a second to approve this ordinance? Okay. A roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Gill. Vice
Yes.
President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Now let's move to resolution, thank you. Let's move to resolution number 1. Madam Clerk, please read.
Resolution 1, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Accounts and Control, resolution authorizing the appointment of a temporary chief financial officer pursuant to NJSA 48:9-28-4D, Hassan Mohammed.
Okay. Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Madam President. Mr. Acker is here to discuss this appointment, but the administration is thrilled that Mr. Muhammad is going to step up and assume the position of Chief Financial Officer.
Thank you, Robert. Again, Madam President, Mark Acker, Director of Department of Administration and Finance. Kimberly Smeraldo, our current temporary CFO, who was appointed February 1st of 2016, is retiring effective next Thursday, June 1. We have not been successful, although we haven't really put it out on the street to find a permanent CFO. We have someone on board who's been with us for a couple years now, Hassan Mohammed. He's taken all of the municipal finance officer courses. He's preparing to sit for the exam next June 7th, this June 7th. And then somewhere during the fall or the late fall, December time, he hopes to take the county fiscal operations course. Once he takes that course, he will have his certified county finance officer's license. So this resolution would put him in as a temporary until that transpires, where he gets his permanent county finance officer's license. Under state statute, we have 2 years to work with the temporary. Again, Kimberly was there since February, so we have until February of 2018 to have a permanent one in place, and we believe Hussam will be that individual. This will continue in, or put him in the temporary spot.
Thank you. Mr. Polavecchio?
No question.
Mr. McInerney? Freeholders? Freeholder Toro?
Is Mr. Muhammad here?
No, he couldn't be here. He had a prior commitment with his children. June 7th, he takes the exam for the municipal license. I'm not sure. I think Mr. Fornicola knows June 21. He'll be here.
I look forward to meeting him, and I just want to commend the administration for promoting within and continuing that talent.
Freeholders? Thank you. Mr. Acker, if you could stay right there, we're going to jump to resolutions number 10 and 20, which I believe you are here to speak to, or the Office of Administration and Finance as well. Madam Clerk, can you please read resolutions 10 and 20?
Resolutions 10, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Accounts and Controls, Professional Services Agreement for various audits and ancillary services for 2017 Samuel Klein and Company $482,300. Resolution 20, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Purchasing, authorizing execution of an agreement with the Morris County Cooperative Pricing Council to renew membership therein for the period of May 1st, 2017 through September 30th, 2021.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Madam President. Actually, this one's on me rather than Mr. Acker. Number 10 is our agreement with Samuel Klein and Company. As Madam Clerk outlined, there are a number of components to it. There's our single audit, the prosecutor's forfeited fund and seized fund, the sheriff's forfeited and seized fund, official statements, and a verification agent. And Mr. Lustbader from Samuel Klein is here to answer your questions.
Thank you. Please move forward. Good evening.
First of all, I'd like to thank, my name is Marvin Lustbader. I'm the partner in charge of the field work for the Essex County audit. On behalf of our firm, I'd like to thank the Freeholder Board for considering our firm as auditors for the County of Essex. The audit comprises the Department of Administration and Finance and other outside agencies as the Surrogate's Office, the Registrar of Deeds and Mortgages, the County Clerk, and the Department of Recreation and the Sheriff's Office. As you heard before, we also prepare an audit for the confiscated funds of the Prosecutor and Sheriff's Office and prepare a single audit for federal state grants.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? Mr. McInerney?
Now, Samuel Klein's been with the county for many years and has a great institutional knowledge in what makes up our internal controls and transactions. We're glad to see him aboard. I am, anyway. Glad to see him aboard.
Thank you. Mr. Paul Vecchio?
I don't have any questions.
Fielder Seagull?
Thank you. Samuel Klein and Company has always done a wonderful job for Essex County, and I'm glad they're going to be continuing to work for Essex County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Freeholders? Okay, thank you. And please move to Resolution 20. Please list 1 and 10. So, Mr. Jackson, Resolution 20.
Yes, Madam President. We are participating in the Morris County Co-op, which is another entity that allows us to buy goods and services at a favorable price. This is a 5-year agreement, May 1st, 2017 through September 30th, 2021, and it costs us $1,100 a year, and we join other counties who are members like Passaic, Somerset, Sussex, Morris, and Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. For the next one, can you pull the microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know that it's, at our freeholder meeting, each person usually has a microphone. By habit.
Okay.
Thank you. No? Mr. McInerney? Mr. Paul Vecchio?
Yes, Mr. Jackson, you stated that we are already part of a number of cooperative pricing programs with different general county agencies. So just to be clear, this allows us to bypass the formal RFP bid process, and Morris County will have done that work for us, and we can choose that. And if that's the most favorable price for us, then we don't have to go out and do it would save the time and the effort of going out for the bid of the RFP, correct?
Through you, Madam President, that's correct.
Thank you. Freeholders? Okay. Hearing none. Please list it for action later this evening. That goes for resolutions 1, 10, and 20. Madam Clerk, please move to resolution number 2 and read.
Resolution 2, advise and consent nomination for the appointment of Ralph Chiella to the Essex County College Advisory Board of Trustees.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Madam President. The county executive was looking to have some new blood to come before us. So he's, and we're very proud and happy that Ralph has agreed to serve on the Essex County College Advisory Board of Trustees. His record speaks for itself, and we're just thrilled that he's willing to give us some more of his time.
Okay, Ms. Wallace?
Good evening, Madam President, members of the Board of Chosen Freeholders. it seems like a short time ago we were together on a weekly basis. Now I spend my Wednesday nights watching TV. I can't catch you guys live unless I figure out how to stream you guys, but I can honestly say I miss each and every one of you. My retirement didn't last that long. It was March 1st, I retired. I figured I'd roll out to the sunset, and then I get a call, and it's from our county executive. He says, you can't retire. We need your help. How would you like serving on the Board of Trustees of the college? Never really thought about it, and said, if I could help, I would love to be there to help. I figured my many years of vast experiences to this county, I have something to offer, and I would love to offer to the college, to the students, and to the residents of the county. And I look forward to serving and making us all proud of a very fine institution, Essex County College.
All right. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Polavecchio? Freeholder Seabold?
Thank you. Ralph Chialella did a wonderful job as county administrator, and I am sure that he's going to be a wonderful job on the Board of Trustees of Essex County College. And I am really thrilled that you're willing to give up some of your retirement to do this and put in the time for the county college, because they really need you there. And I'm really happy you're going to be there to help and to help straighten things out.
Thank
you.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes. Are you sure you got enough golf in yet, Ralph?
Through you, Madam President, believe it or not, Freeholder Johnson, I think I've played golf 5 times since I retired. The weather has not been cooperative.
Wow.
So that was part of my decision to say, well, if I can't golf, let me at least be indoors and roll up the sleeves.
Well, you know, I'm really glad to see you back with the family, because that's what we have here is a big family. And you've been an integral part of this family for a long time. I'm just glad to see that you still got a leg in it. Don't put the whole body in, just keep the leg in.
Thank you.
But enjoy it. Essex County College, and enjoy it.
Freeholders? Freeholder Vice President Gill?
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, Ralph, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome back. You might, we're lucky to have you on that board, and with your experience and knowledge of the county. But I also just wanted to say a couple things on the record, and please understand that you have my full support to serve on the board, but I'd be remiss if I just didn't make a couple of comments, I think, for the constituents that we all serve. That board, or the college, as we know, is, or at least what I read, because we have not been briefed in a formal way, is going through some serious challenges. I can only speak for myself on this particular issue, and I don't know how my colleagues felt about it, but I don't know how you felt when you read about a change in leadership through the newspaper. As a representative of the legislative body of this county government. So my hope is that in addition to this time that you've already given the county to get us where we are as a county government, that you will be a guiding influence on that board to help solve some of the many, it seems to be, issues. The college is in danger of, my understanding of potentially losing their accreditation. It would be the first county college I believe, in the United States to ever go bankrupt. And this was a crowning jewel of the county college system. The Essex County College is the crowning jewel of the Essex County College system. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned as a resident. I'm concerned as a freeholder that we restore the county college's reputation back to its rightful place. So again, no reflection on your ability to serve. I do need some moisturizer too. But I think it's important for me at least that the public know that we are paying attention, we are aware, we are fielding calls about its future, and I know you take that seriously. But I just wanted to take that opportunity to say, I'm taking that seriously too. So,
Certainly.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Freeholder Cristiano.
Thank you, Madam President. I too share the same sentiments as Freeholder Vice President Gill. I just wanted to add, Ralph, you're a good friend, a very capable individual who has done a great job in our county. The one thing that I wish I could, how can I say this? The one thing that I wish you could take to that board is that this legislative branch, including myself, and I want to even speak on the administration's behalf, we, under all measures and circumstances, don't want to have to resort to raising tuition, because that school and that county college serves, as a conduit to get young folks back engaged in going to higher education. And if we have to be forced to raise the tuition, I know that that's going to cut a lot of folks out, and we don't want to do that. And I know Mr. Harris is in support of that, right, Mr. Harris? I also want to add on the record, which a lot of folks forget, that, and I served for 4 years as a liaison to the county college board, that we have a branch of the county college that does amazing work for public safety. We have the police academy and the fire academy. And for many years now, I've heard rumors that we were thinking about doing away with it and privatizing it. And I don't think that that is something we should do. We should be proud to support and train the future law enforcement and firefighters of our communities. And so if you take a couple of things back with the rest of the wealth of your knowledge, please keep those in mind. And again, I know you're going to do just great. But if you ever want to join the team, I know everyone here, right, Mayor Jackson? You'd welcome Ralph back with open arms. So we miss you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Freeholder Jones.
I want to congratulate Ralph also, but I sit on that board, and the message that I get is through the newspaper and letters that have been sent to me by individuals that works for the school. And I just hope you, with your leadership, will be able to make those people of the school accredited in terms of ethics. Because Essex County College has been around a long time. I know when it first opened. And you're talking about credibility in terms of people who are trying to run the school. When it comes to education, you need qualified people or business, people who know business, not politics. And I'm going to say that hopefully it takes a team, but hopefully with your guidance as a professional, that you can steer them in the right way, and to make sure, since I am a freeholder and sit on that board, that those members receive information periodically as to what is going on. And secondly, the outsourcing of litigation. This is one of the things that is creating a problem over there. I don't know who's creating it, but it's something that I hope that you can look into, and then I come to the next meeting that, since you're going to be on that board, as to where this money is going, because the community was asking, where was the money going? I couldn't ask it. I asked them to send me a letter, stated I never received it. So it is county money, it's tax people's money, and we should be able to know what is going on in our educational system. And thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Freeholder.
Freeholder Toro.
Congratulations, Ralph. You really shocked me. It hasn't been 2 months and you're already, taking on a part-time job. But I want to thank my colleagues for bringing up all these important issues and concerns, to hope for restoration for your reputation. We do want to maintain the quality of education and the cost of education the same, if not lower. And I am hopeful because, you know, we worked with you and we know your capacity, your knowledge, your experience, and I'm happy to see that you were selected to be a part of the board of trustees.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Freeholders? Mr. Shalala, welcome back. It's very good to see you. I think that you will be a little tickled to know that you mentioned spending every Wednesday with us. We've been on an every other Wednesday schedule now. And shucks, right, when you retired, right?
Yes.
And, but it really is good to see you. You have done amazing work for this county as the county administrator, past county administrator. We also now have a fabulous county administrator named Robert Jackson, who's doing a tremendous job. And, you know, we thank you for setting the standard and doing all that you did here at the county. And I know one thing about you is that you're a true professional and that you are a worker. I will say that there's nothing that my colleagues said, Freeholder Vice President Gill, Freeholder Luciano, Freeholder Jones, and Freeholder Toro, that they said that I disagree with. There is a lot of things that this Freeholder Board is unaware of that is occurring at the college. We don't know. We don't have any facts. We don't have any necessary jurisdiction. But what we do is we field a lot of phone calls and community meetings, people coming in to try to talk to us. And unfortunately, we're learning about things through the newspaper, which I believe is a big issue. And our office, again, has no jurisdiction and you know, no facts. But one of the things that we did promise, and when I say we, it was the leadership of this board, which was Vice President Gill as well as myself, to several community members, that we would just be very transparent, as this government is always transparent, but in particularly let them know whenever new appointments would be coming up. And I just learned that unfortunately that did not happen through our office. So Mr. Chalala, I know that I'm sure that you are going to be approved to be on this advisory board. I know that you will serve with the vision of that graduation rate and those students needing to be, you know, held first, but only because I'm a woman of my word and I made that commitment, and unfortunately our office did not follow through. I am going to abstain strictly because of that, not because of who you are. So with that said, if no other freeholders have any comments, is there a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Seabold.
I'll second.
Second by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill,
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson,
Yes.
Freeholder Jones,
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano,
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebel,
Yes.
Freeholder Toro,
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Abstention. Thank you. And Mr. Shaw, I know you're going to start well. Congratulations.
Thank you all for those kind words, and have a great evening.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please move to resolution number 3 and read.
Resolution 3, Office of the Registrar of Deeds and Mortgages, resolution authorizing the establishment of an additional change fund in the amount of $25.
Okay, Mr. Jackson.
Madam President, our auditors recommended that the Office of Deeds and Mortgages establish a second fund to make change. Right now there's one location, and they believe that establishing this second location will prevent members of the staff having to walk through the halls with money, and it could just be 2 locations, because they make change in 2 separate locations. So rather than walking back and forth, just having 2 locations, the auditors strongly recommended, and this will allow them to do that.
Thank you. Mr. McNary. Mr. Paul Vecchio.
No questions.
Freeholders. It's very cut and dry. Thank you. Please list it for action later this evening. And move to resolution number 4. Please read.
Resolution 4, Office of the County Council, amended professional services agreement regarding legal services provided in connection with various environmental violations imposed by the county's Department of Health and its authorized subcontract agencies, Bureau, Zena, Cipollelli, Paris, and Gina Tempo, January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Madam President, County Council Gassion is here to answer questions.
Good evening, Courtney Gassion, Essex County Council. Good evening, Madam President and Freeholder Board. In connection with resolution number 4, this is an amended professional services agreement for legal services that are being provided by outside counsel Pyro Zena. It is a amendment for the contract to run from January 1 of this year through the end of the year, December 31st. Pyro Zena is responsible for assisting the county in the collection of fees associated with the various environmental violations imposed in the county, throughout the county, in the areas of air, pesticides, water, and underground storage tanks. This is a contingency-based contract, and in that, Pyro Zena is paid through a portion of the fees that are collected by them on behalf of the county. Specifically, they are entitled to 1/4 of all the fines and penalties recovered without court action, and 1/3 of all fines and penalties that end up going to litigation. The reason for the amendment is that we are just being more specific in the contract, the original underlying contract, to include fees and penalties for air, pesticide, water, and underground storage tank violations.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
Who actually issues these violations?
It actually goes through the law firm and from the county. They contact us, we issue the actual violation. They're responsible for helping us collect the penalties that are imposed.
Who actually goes out, inspects?
Yeah, Sue can speak to it better than I can.
Excuse me. Good evening, Madam President and Freeholder Board. My name is Sue Hans, Director of Community Health Services. Those fines are actually done through inspections through the Essex Regional Health Commission. They go out with their inspectors, and they have a number of sites they have to go out every year to inspect, and those are determined normally by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. They give us a list, and we go out there. That we subcontract with Essex Regional Health, which their contract just got approved a couple months ago, and they do this for us on a state fiscal year. And for our solid waste collections and inspections, those are done by our own inspectors here at the county. And if they're unable to collect, they send out a series of letters once they come and they go in front of Dr. Festa, whose contract is up for renewal today. They go and they have a hearing. If, depending on the amount of time or what the violation is, they're issued a summons, they pay, and if they don't pay, then they go into a series of collections with a letter, and if they don't, then we contact county council to assist us. Sometimes we get them to pay, and sometimes it's difficult to do. So county council does a great job in helping us through Pyro Zena. Thank you.
Mr. Paul Vecchio?
I don't have any questions.
Freeholders? All right. Hearing none, thank you so much. Please listen for action later this evening. Please move to resolution number 5.
Resolution 5, Office of County Council, 2 lease agreements between the County of Essex and Essex County Vocational Schools, VOTEC, for simultaneous execution, permitting the county to lease VOTEC interest in 50 South Clifton Street, East Orange, and permit VOTEC to continue to lease for a portion of the county's Leroy Smith building.
Okay. Mr. Jackson?
Thank you.
Gassion.
Courtney Gassion, County Council. Madam President, this is a request for an approval of 2 lease agreements between the County of Essex and the Essex County Vocational Schools, otherwise known as VOTEC. These are this request is for the simultaneous execution of these two particular leases. Specifically, the county will be leasing space from Votech at 50 South Clinton, and Votech will be in kind leasing space from the county at the Leroy Smith building in Newark. The fiscal impact on the county is a sum of zero as a result of there being an equal amount of lease payments and amount of lease payments from each of the two entities. So in other words, we pay the same amount to the Votech as they're paying us for their lease. So it is a wash, for lack of a better word. And the lease year is for a one-year period, January 1 of this year through December 31st, with 4 one-year options to renew.
Okay. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Palovecchio?
Yes, does the county have that space in 50 South Clinton for a specific department or a specific office? Or is it
I know it's the
new?
fifth. I know it's the 5th floor of 50 South Clinton. I'm not sure which offices are housed there. Sue, do you know? I'll bring Sue hands up again.
Sue Hands, Community Health Services. Our offices are actually located at 50 South Clinton Street, and on the 5th floor they have, on the side that they're talking about for the vocational schools, are actually training classes that are being conducted there. My understanding is that the Learning Link is upstairs, and they also have a couple of other youth courses that they have for at-risk youth.
Thank you.
Freeholders? Freeholder Jones? Freeholders? Thank you. Who's listed for action later this evening? Please move to resolution number 6 and read.
Resolution 6, Office of the County Council Professional Service Agreement to provide county adjuster investigations, 2-year agreement from date of award, Trian Aid Associates, amount not to exceed $70,000.
Okay. Mr. Jackson? Ms. Gassion?
I'll turn to Ms. Hands. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Courtney Gassion, Essex County Council. Resolution number 6 is a contract with TrianAid Services. This is the incumbent investigative company that we've been using for the last year or so. The purposes of this contract is for the investigative services of TrianAid to assist the county in identifying the correct origin for the payment for in-house stays at our Essex County Hospital Center, as well as for Essex residents' stays in other mental health hospitals throughout the state. There are obviously medical expenses associated with those fees depending on the county of residency of those patients. The specific county that the patient is from is responsible for those particular medical expenses if the patient is unable to pay on their own. The investigators assist the county in identifying the county of origin for those patients and help us track and collect the payments from either outside counties other than Essex, or in the event that no county is able to be identified, we will contact the state to seek their assistance in the payment for those medical fees. It is a 2-year contract and the total amount is $70,000.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McInerney?
Is this the first year this
We-
vendor has been with this contract?
No, this is the 2nd year we've had them, yes.
We had somebody else for years before.
We did, yes. They replaced the incumbent that was with us for many years. But this is now the 2nd contract we've had with TrianAid. No.
Okay, Mr. Palovecchio? Mr. McInerney, what was your last question?
No, I just asked if there was somebody here prior to this company for a number of years that this contract came from.
Okay.
So this started last year.
Correct.
I was just curious.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Palovecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Freeholder Jones?
My concern is outsourcing. Don't we have the department at that particular,
Freeholder Jones, can you use the microphone?
Okay. I'm thinking about outsourcing. I noticed that there's a lot of outsourcing going to different law firms. And I'm just wondering, do we have enough employees that they could take on those tasks as opposed to paying professionals or whatever it is, like $70,000. You could train a person to do that task, and they could be, they would work 12 years out of a month, you know, as opposed to law firms. It's expensive. Maybe you could create a job and you could do some training in-house that persons or persons would be able to do those types of jobs that is needed for the county.
So, Madam Freeholder, President, through you, Freeholder Jones, for this particular contract, we are not actually contracting with a law firm. It's an investigative firm. So they're not doing legal work for the county. They're actually conducting investigations. So they have access to information, databases, and resources that the county does not have in-house, certainly not in the county counsel's office, to be able to track down and source these particular individuals, find out what their county of residency is, where they've been living for the last 20 years, what their financial resources are. That's something that is beyond our capability because they have particular access to databases that they're able to do that. In many cases, they're actually going out physically in the field to track down the locations of these particular patients. So that's not something that we have attorneys in our office certainly trained to do, nor do I think it would be the best resources for an attorney to be doing that.
Let me just say this. Since they're not attorneys,
That's
I
correct.
would think that they were a law firm. So then you could train an individual to do that same, and I'm quite sure you have all types of information in computers or whatever. I'm not a computer person, but they could be trained and they could work 12 months out of the year and get the same work done. I mean, to investigate, I guess all of the information that they would use, if you train someone out of your department, they could do the same work without being an attorney or an outsourced type of person. You know, this is Essex County, and people in Essex County need jobs, and I'm quite sure we have intelligent people who are capable of doing that same type of investigation. And we have the county over there, the Essex County College. This is, of course, the things that we can think in terms of training people and making them more stable in Essex County. This is what we're talking about. Everything is outsourced, but nothing is coming in. So it's just an idea. It's something
Understood.
that I would like for you to look into and to see whether you can do in terms of empowerment of the residents of Essex County.
Right, and just I do understand your point, Madam Freeholder. These, just to be clear though, these particular individuals are trained private investigators. They're being sourced for their particular knowledge and experience in this area of investigation. On staff in my office now, I do not have anybody that is qualified to do that. I also don't know that at $70,000, it's $70,000 for 2 years, so it's actually a $35,000 a year contract. I don't know that I'd be able to pay somebody $35,000 for a 12-month salary and benefits and be able to get the same type of service from them that I'm paying for an outsourced contract. Okay. Point taken. Thank you.
Mr. Jackson?
Through you, Madam President. Also, to Freeholder Jones, there's a particular software that's required to get this information, excuse me, and to purchase that alone is $35,000. So it's this relationship, and I fully appreciate what you're saying about jobs, and I know your advocacy for that, but this financially, this is a much better arrangement for our taxpayers.
Freeholders? Freeholder Jones?
I'm just putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can do things, you can drink coffee every day at 8 o'clock, or maybe you try cocoa, you'll like it better. So those things I'm saying to you to investigate and see can you find other alternatives. Because what you did yesterday, you may want to do it differently tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholders? Okay, hearing none, please list it. Madam Clerk, please move to resolution number 7.
Resolution 7, Department of Corrections Amendment Number 1 to the Shared Services Agreement between the County of Union and the County of Essex for the housing of adult inmates in the Essex County Correctional Facility.
Okay, Mr. Jackson?
Madam President, as you know, we have a mutually beneficial relationship with the County of Union, with our correctional facilities, and Director Ortiz is here to explain this one.
Good evening, Madam President. Freeholder Board.
I'm here to advocate and support the passage of this particular amendment, so to continue the services to Union by Essex County Correctional Facility for the safe and secure housing of their inmates while they undergo construction endeavors over there requiring them to move individuals into our facility for their safekeeping.
Okay. Mr. McInerney?
So this is just a short-term period?
It's been 1 year so far, and they're, what do you call it, a tower-type jail. So there's a lot of construction to be done in their elevators and whatever, so we get their overflow as they go to different floors. So it may last the rest of the year.
And our costs are less than obviously what we're...
Yes.
Mr. Paul Vecchio? Freeholders? Please list it. Number 8 has been withdrawn by the administration. Please move resolution number 9 and read.
Resolution 9, Office of the Board of Taxation, Professional Services Agreement to provide auditing, accounting services, Samuel Klein and Company, $22,500.
We did number 9 already. We did 10. This is Samuel Klein again. Did our representative?
He
Okay,
but
Mr.
this,
McInerney?
this is Board of Taxation, so when we get those equalization charts that show the allocation of county taxes by municipality, that's done by Samuel Klein as well. When I looked at the decision memorandum, that's what this is basically for.
Okay, and it's 22.5, so it's below the 100,000. So, Mr. Jackson.
No, Mr. McInerney was fine.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Paul Vecchio. Freeholders. Okay, please list it. Please move to resolution number 11 and read.
Resolution 11, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Family Assistance and Benefits, approval of consent to sublease agreement with 10 Park Place Associates and sublease agreement with the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependencies, New Jersey, June 1st, 2017 through May 31st, 2019. Revenue to county, $302,038.78.
Okay, Mr. Jackson.
Madam President, this is regarding a sublease that we have at 18 Rector Street, and Mr. Martinez is here to explain.
Mr. Martinez?
Good evening, Madam President. We have this agreement with the national...
Mr. Martinez, if you could just state your name and affiliation
Oh, yes.
again,
My
just
name
for
is
the record.
George Martinez. I'm the business manager for the Division of Family Assistance and Benefits at 18 Rector. Like as I was saying, the National Council of Alcoholism and Drug Dependence has been leasing with us, subleasing with us for many years now. And this is a continuation of a 2-year lease agreement, which the landlord has agreed upon. And so this sublease gives them the opportunity to service some of our own clients that have drug dependency abuse or alcohol abuse. And this is a positive revenue for the county. And they provide excellent services, supportive services to the Work First New Jersey recipients.
Okay. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Paul Vecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Freeholder Jones? No. Faking me out with your hand. Okay. Thank you so much for what you do with this, the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependencies. This is, something that is unfortunately needed, and the County of Essex does a lot with helping out in areas of citizen services and social services and things. So thank you. I just want to commend you. Freeholders? Okay. Thank you. Please list it. Please move to resolution number 12 and read.
Resolution 12, Department of Health and Rehabilitation, Division of Community Health Services, Professional Services Agreement to provide health officer, sanitarian services, Michael Festa, May 26, 2017 through May 25th, 2018, amount not to exceed $52,500.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, Madam President.
Wait, one second.
Freeholders, sorry.
Mr. Jackson?
Got ahead of myself.
Yes. This is a one-year agreement, and Ms. Hands is here to explain.
Ms. Hand?
So again, I have the wonderful privilege of being up here again, Madam President, and Freeholder Board. As you can all see, I have my angel pill, my angel pin, excuse me. Dr. Festa is infamous for giving them out. Dr. Festa is the health officer for the County of Essex. He's been serving for quite a long time. This is a renewal of his contract. He also serves as the hearing officer for us, as I explained previously, for all violations that are done with regards to solid waste and the Department of Environmental Protection. Dr. Festa is an asset to us. He also sometimes serves as a counselor for drug and alcohol addiction. He also does sanitarian work at the hospital center, and everyone knows him. Anywhere you go, he is well known. So I'd just like to bring him up so you can explain a little bit about his experience and time with the county. Dr. Festa?
Good evening. I'm very happy and proud to serve the community, and I do a lot of work with drugs, alcohol. In fact, I'm the founder of Turning Point. I founded Turning Point many years ago because women were not treated properly, and I made a change to Turning Point. I'm internationally certified as drug and alcohol counselor, and I hear the cases when we have solid waste and other violations. That brings in additional income. And I'm certified drugs, alcohol internationally, sanitarian, so forth. And I'm honored to serve it 24/7.
Thank you, Dr. Festa. Mr. McInerney?
No question.
Mr. Paul Vecchio?
No question.
Freeholders? Thank you, Dr. Festa, for
Thank
your
you, ma'am.
service, and we do appreciate it, and you have been just really great in the past. And also, thank you for your service to our country, Dr. Festa. To our country. Festa threw me the peace sign. Okay. Please list it. Please move to resolutions 17, 18, 19, and 70.
17, 18, 19, and 70?
Yes.
All right. 70. Resolution 17, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to consultants to provide material lab testing services. 2-year agreement not to exceed $103,822. Resolution 18, Department of Public Works, Division of Fleet Management, contract award to F&S Tire Centers, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, to provide specialty tires and tire road service repair for county fleet vehicles and equipment. 1-year agreement, amount not to exceed $75,000. Resolution 19, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to Guardian Fence, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, to provide installation and removal of fencing at various county locations.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
730 calendar day agreement, amount not to exceed $290,000. And resolution 70. Thank you. Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, Federal Aid Agreement, number 2016 DT-BLA-208, Chancellor Avenue, County Road 601, intersection improvements, Township of Irvington.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Madam President, these 4 items are go over a host of issues and items, and our director, Sanjeev Farhis, is here to go through each one with you.
Mr. Varghese? And Mr. Varghese, before you begin, I just want to thank you for your prompt action to resident concerns recently brought to your attention, and the community has been very satisfied.
My name is Sanjeev Varghese. I'm the county engineer. And good evening, Madam President, and good evening to all board. I have 4 resolutions here. The first one is for a testing laboratory As you may know, we have several construction projects, roadway, bridges, parks, buildings, and most of them need testing for materials, soil, concrete, asphalt, and all of them require a certified testing lab. So we went out for a competitive procurement RFP, and RFP is listed in the submittals with you, and ANS was the lowest firm. I have somebody from ANS Laboratory, Mr. Atul Shah. He's here to answer any questions on that particular resolution.
Good evening, all freeholders and Madam President. My wife and I, we own ANS Consultants. After working 14 years with another consultant, on Friday when I heard the word and say that you're laid off, going home with the tears and said, I don't want to hear this word again. So in 1994, I started with my wife ANS Consultants. We employ about 50 employees full-time, from Giant Stadium to all light rail train station to all the airports. All the concrete testing is done by ANS Consultant. I can proudly say that with our staff, that we are proud to have this contract also. You mentioned earlier about having the ordinance 3 for minority. This is the perfect example where we as foreigners, Indians, considered as a minority, and unless there was somebody to hold our hand and say, okay, as you say, it's not a handout, but a little help, it really went a long way, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And maybe we'll see you on June 7th when we introduce it, and then the 2 meetings after that, whenever it's passed. So thank you for your support for that. It's very important. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Polavecchia?
No questions. One is his name on the record.
Could you state your name and affiliation for the record?
ATUL, last name Shah, SHAH.
Thank you so much. Freeholders? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Vargas?
Resolution 18 is for specialty tires for our fleet. We have several specialty equipment, front-end loaders, tandems, trailers, and those tires are special tires. And we went out for bid for a catalog service, and this is the lowest, FNS is the lowest bidder. And this is a not to exceed contract. We don't expect to use $75,000, it's as needed. But this is an open-ended, as-needed contract, and it's less than $100,000. That's why the vendor is not here.
Thank you, Mr. Vargas. Mr. McInerney?
No, this is the lowest responsible bidder.
Mr. Polavecchia?
No comment.
Freeholders? Okay. Mr. Vargas?
Resolution 19, this is again, last meeting you had a contract with Guardian Fence for parks projects, and this is just for public works facilities, roadways, bridges. We also have fences and along the roadways, around the buildings, like Hall of Records and wherever we have fences. And this is again a contract when and where we need them, we call them and fix our fences. And there are fences on Eisenhower Parkway which hits every other day, and these are the contracts we use to fix them. Again, most of the fence repair or damages are, we get the insurance money back, even though it's county money we put up front, and most of the money comes back through insurance. And he's the lowest bidder. Again, we have Andrew from Guardian Fence is here to answer any questions you may have.
Good evening, Andrew Macarelli, Guardian Fence Company, North.
Okay, can you tell us a bit about the contract?
Like Sanjeev said, time material based on call out as needed. We write something up, Sanjeev will approve it. Like you said, most of the time it's out of insurance, so once they figure out they're getting paid, they cut me loose to go fix it. That's about it.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
No other questions.
Mr. Polavecchia?
No, this is a lowest responsible bidder.
Freeholders? It's very cut and dry. Thank you. Mr. Vargas?
Resolution 70 and 71. We had a federal grant for chancellor revenue, several traffic lights on chancellor revenue, and we came before.
Mr. Vargas, if you could just hold on one moment. We did not read 71 into the record. Would you like that one as well? Ms. Deputy Ward, please read that into the record.
Yes, Resolution 71, 2017 County Budget Insertion of Items of Revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Transportation for Chancellor Avenue Coordinate, County Road 601, Intersection Improvements, Departments of Public Works, $573,356.
Okay.
Yes, again, we go out for grants throughout the federal and state and local grants, and most of the time we are successful, and we are getting a lot of grants from the feds recently, and this was one of the major grants we got for Irvington, Newark area chancellor revenue, and there are 2 contracts. This is one of them. The first grant award was for the construction. That was for $3 million and some changes. Since that resolution came before the board and the board approved it, we went back for additional grant funds, additional 500 some change from the feds, and they approved that grant. So they wanted us to modify rescind the first resolution which the board approved, and amend that resolution to include the second additional grant they gave us and modify that agreement. And 71 is the additional funds they gave us, $573,000. That's a separate budget insertion to modify that original insertion for $3,054,000.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
Are there any matches on these grants?
This is 100% grant from feds.
Mr. Paul Vecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Okay. Mr. Vargas, I see that there's also, because you spoke to 71, I see that there's also insertion of items from revenue for Resolution 26. Mr. Jackson, is there any other resolutions that Mr. Vargas needs to speak to this evening? 21 through 26? Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please list resolutions 17 through 19, 70, and 71 for action later this evening. So we're on insertions of items from revenue. That's what Mr. Vargas just jumped to. So we have 22 through 26. Mr. Jackson? Ms. Deborah Davis Ward, please read.
Yes, starting with 22, Madam President.
Yes.
Resolution 22, 2017, County Budget Insertion of Items of Revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety for County Office of Victim Advocacy, VOCA Supplemental, Office of Prosecutor, $400,000. Resolution 23, 2017, County Budget Insertion of Items of Revenue from the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey for Domestic Violence Assessment Center Program Income, Division of Community Health Services, $575. Resolution 24, 2017, County Budget Agreement and Insertion of Items of Revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Human Services for Personal Assistance Services Program, Division of Community Health, $130,000. Resolution 25, 2017, County Budget Insertion of Items of Revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for Wastewater Management Plan, Department of Public Works, $40,000. Resolution 26, 2017, Budget Insertion of Item of Revenue from the Borough of North Caldwell for a traffic signal at the intersection of W. Greenbrook Road, J. L. Hand Drive, Department of Public Works, $99,600.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Madam President. The first grant, number 22, is coming out of the Victim of Crime Act, VOCA supplemental funding in the amount of $400,000. It also requires an in-kind match, which will be salary and fringe benefits on our behalf, to provide for victims of, for the Office of the Prosecutor, for victims of crime, different crimes, and providing support for those individuals. Item 23 also is a budget insertion from the Domestic Violence Assessment Center. Historically, this program has collected small fees from the offenders referred to the program, and in 2016 that amount of money was $575. We have Director Hands, I believe, is still here to talk to that if you need more information, as well as on item 24.
I've never been this popular in all my life. Good evening again, Madam President, Freeholder Board. As for resolution for the domestic violence for $575, those are fees that are charged to for batterers that they come in and they are assessed to see and to monitor them for compliance with court-mandated treatment, to ensure that they are properly educated about the offense that they committed, and to see if they require other treatment. This is normally done by Joyce Maurer, who is also she's our DVAC counselor and our EAP counselor at the county. She couldn't be here tonight because she just returned from medical leave, but she does a terrific job in getting these batterers to recognize the offense that they've committed, and hopefully they know better than to do it again. So that's for that resolution. And for the PASP grant, are we on that one, Dad? That is for the Personal Assistance Services grant. This is a administrative grant for $130,000. We get $1.3 million across the county for people that are permanently physically disabled. And this is an opportunity for them to get ADLs, which is assistance of daily living, for in case they need to shower, get dressed, get fed, have their meals prepared for them, so that they're able to go back into the community and either go to school, work, or volunteer. So they're not sitting home. A lot of people that have muscular dystrophy, some of them are blind. We give them an opportunity to get back into the community, and if they need assistance, this is the way that they get it. I know that many of the freeholders are familiar with the program. Freeholder Luciano, I know. We've discussed it before. So that's all I have at this time if you have any other questions.
Thank you. All right, Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Paul Beckia?
No questions.
Freeholders? Okay. Hearing none, please list resolutions 22 through 26. Madam Clerk, please read resolution number 21.
Resolution 21, Office of the Prosecutor, a resolution approving the participation with the State of New Jersey federal grant program administered by the Division of Criminal Justice, Department of Law and Public Safety, and accepting sub-grant award BCS-50-15 for the period October 1st, 2016 through March 31st, 2018.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes, again, Madam President, this is another grant program that we've been fortunate enough to receive through the Office of the Prosecutor. Again, provides assistance to victims of crimes. This is a $400,000 grant, which requires a $100,000 match on our part, again, in salary and fringe benefits, running from October 1st, 2016 through March 31st, 2018. And again, this will support victim witness advocacy program and for the victims and their families. And that's it.
Thank you. Very important grant indeed. Mr. McInerney?
The in-kind, we're not hiring anybody else for that. That's existing staff, correct?
That is correct. Through you, Madam President, that's correct.
Okay, Mr. Paul Beckia?
No additional questions.
Freeholders? Okay, thank you. Please list it for action. Madam Clerk, please read into the record at a later time resolutions 27 through 69 with for members of the public. Those are generally commendations, congratulating various work throughout the community and different things. And it seems like I skipped skipped resolutions 13 through 16, which are all parks and recreations. Madam Clerk, will you please read?
Yes. Resolution 13, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, contract award to Store Tractor Company, the sole responsive and responsible bidder to provide for brand real mower maintenance and repair services, 24-month agreement, amount not to exceed $184,493. Resolution 14, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, contract award to Wilford McDonald Incorporated, the sole responsive and responsible bidder to provide Jacobson and John Deere brand real mower maintenance and repair services, 24-month agreement, amount not to exceed $35,716.38. Resolution 15, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, change order with Mint Advertising for media buy-in service in the additional amount not to exceed $31,065. Resolution 16, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, contract award to Salih Altunitas, the highest responsive and responsible bidder, revenue generating bidder to provide a mobile ice cream truck for Branchbrook and Brookdale Parks, revenue $18,660.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson.
Madam President, Director Salvanti and Chris are here to answer your questions on these items.
Hello, Madam President, freeholders. Tim Chris, Director of Golf Course Operations. Resolution 13 and 14. Any questions?
If you could just tell us a bit about the contracts.
The first one, the representative from Store is the higher one. He's here. Basically, my two contracts are for maintenance of real equipment. That basically the real equipment we use to maintain all our turf at the golf course, and we don't have the specialized equipment that it takes, so we ship it out to these various companies.
And the companies are here?
Store is.
Okay, please come forward, tell us a bit about your company. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Madam President and members of the Freeholder Board. My name is Kevin Hoban. I represent Store Tractor Company. We are located in Branchburg, New Jersey, and we are the designated Toro distributor for northern New Jersey, New York City, and Long Island, and a couple of counties in New York State. We have a full-service staff of 8 factory-trained mechanics. We have 2 road mechanics, or technicians as they're now called, and a full sales and service staff. We also do irrigation and irrigation design, and the company's been there since 1945, and we are also a woman and minority-owned business.
Very good, and congratulations on the longevity.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. McInerney?
You've got a lot of contracts with the county, haven't you?
Yes, we have. Parts contract, service contract, yes, we have.
Mr. Paul Vecchio?
No questions on this.
Freeholders? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Can you supply the purchasing office with your notification?
Mr. Coulter, can you use the microphone? I can't hear you. Thank you.
Julius Coultry, Purchasing Director. Can you at least forward to my office your certification for minor earning small businesses?
Sure. I can have our sales manager do that, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, I'm just trying to shock you a little bit. Item 14 for both.
Item 14?
14, Tim? Tim? 14?
14. Same exact thing. It's just they're Toro mowers, and Wilford supplies different mowers. So we have a fleet of about 75% of Toro, and then we have other manufacturers' equipment. So they handle different types.
Okay. And because it's under $100,000, that vendor isn't here. The Toro was because it's $184,493. All right. Mr. Jackson, 15?
Yes, Director Salvante's here, and
Thank you. Dan Salvante, Director of the Essex County Park System. I believe that is the advertising.
Yes, sir.
Madam President, the Freeholder Board had approved an advertising contract. Currently, approximately 150,000 ads had been placed on cable for our Turtleback Zoo site. We're asking to expand it this time, additional 31,000 for advertising and at the AMC movies in the counties of Essex, Bergen, and Hudson and Morris. We would be advertised prior to the family movies on the weekend, starting on Friday through Sunday. That's the addition on that one. Are there any questions on that?
Mr. McInerney?
I have no question.
Mr. Paulbeck, yeah?
Dan, just to be clear, this is to buy the advertising time. This has nothing to do with the production
Correct.
of the ad itself. Right?
Correct.
And we already had the production of the ad take place in a previous resolution,
Correct.
Freeholders, have we seen a return on investment from the ads thus far?
Based on our numbers that we've had at the South Mountain Complex, to date, we're about 75,000 above last year's attendance record.
75,000?
Yes, people. And it's still early, so we anticipate those numbers to continue to grow. And of course, with our new exhibit that'll be opening in the month of June, we just really see a tremendous increase at the same time.
Thank you. And what broadcast reach does it have? Because I noticed some out-of-towners actually even saying, oh, I'm going to Essex County to Turtleback Zoo. And I thought that maybe it might have a correlation with the commercials that have been going out.
Yeah, Madam Chair, it's pretty broad. I'll provide that to the administration, the exact locations where it goes, because it did have a large network where it went out to.
Thank you.
The other one I think is self-explanatory, was on the advertised for the ice cream at our two, actually it was for 3 locations. Unfortunately, nobody bid on the 3rd location, but that's for Brookdale and for Branchbrook Park.
Mr. Salvanti, we're not going to vote on this unless you brought samples.
Well, Mr. Culture wouldn't let me bring them, so.
Ice cream samples. Mr. Coltree, oh man. No, just joking. Okay. Thank you. Mr. McInerney, any questions?
No, we finished up Parks and Recreation. I want to thank the administration. We had requested the detail on the Open Space Trust Fund and what's been allocated there, what's been expended. It goes back to the beginning of the Open Space Trust Fund. It's a pretty comprehensive accounting, and I think it's well worth the board for others taking a look at.
Madam President, on Resolution 16, we did go out twice for a vendor for Weequahic Park, and both times we got a negative response. No one participated, so we are still looking for an additional vendor. If anyone knows, they're more than welcome to contact the Office of Purchase.
Yes, so for anyone who needs to hear that a little louder, for resolution number 16, which is a contract for providing a mobile ice cream truck for Branchbrook Park and Brookdale, there was also a request for Weequahic Park, and unfortunately went out twice and there was no response received. So if anyone knows of a company who is in this type of business, please contact the office of Jay Coltree, the purchasing agent for Essex County.
Thank you, Madam President.
You guys should put that on a commercial and broadcast it. I'm just, all right. Any questions about resolutions 13 through 16? Hearing none, please list it. Freeholder Board. We're going to move to a collective vote. Is there any resolution? Resolution number 2 has already been voted on. Is there any resolution that needs to be extracted from a collective vote? Resolutions 1, then 3 through 7, 8 through 71.
8's withdrawn.
8 is withdrawn. 9 through 71. Thank you. Hearing no need to extract any resolution from a collective vote, do I have a mover and a second to take resolutions 1, 3 through 7 and 9 through 71, as 8 had been withdrawn by the administration.
I'll move it.
Okay? Moved by Freeholder Siebold. Is there a second? Second by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro. Freeholder Siebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano. Absent. Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Now we're moving to report of board committees. Is there a report of any board committees? Hearing none. Is there any legislative reports? Okay, hearing none. Is there any written communication? Hearing none. Is there any unfinished business? Any new business to discuss? Hearing none. Now moving back to public comment section. Opening up public comment session. If there's any member of the public wishing to comment on any issue at all, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock.
I'll be very brief. I sat through the whole meeting so that I could see what was voted and so forth. And I want to make a recommendation to the Freeholder Board. There's an awful lot of money that's spent with these resolutions. And I sit here, and I remember when I was here before, some of the freeholders would ask about how many of your employees work for the county, how many are African American, how many are women. Tonight I didn't hear those questions, so my question is, did those questions go away? Did the interest go away? Or are these folks back to business as usual and just getting contracts because they had them in the past? I think it's in the interest of all, and in terms of transparency, to know that for these contracts that are being given out, that the companies ought to be at least asked whether or not they have a diverse workforce, because there is a compelling reasons, and it is in the public interest to have a diverse workforce. And until those questions are asked, I think people will continue to think that it's not something that they need to address, and the unemployment rate of particularly African Americans will continue to be high. In Essex County, where we have 327,000 of the 1.2 million black folks in the state of New Jersey, I suspect that we can find qualified people to do a whole bunch of things. But unless companies get into the habit of expecting to be challenged, or at least to have to explain what their workforce look like, I think we're going to continue to have some of these companies that have no diversity at all. Samuel Klein most certainly is a company that's well known, but I would be interested in knowing what does their workforce look like. Do they have women? Do they have African Americans? Do they have Latinos? And are there any efforts being made to increase the diversity? So if I could make that recommendation, perhaps in the future, the Affirmative Action Committee, it still functions. I would love to be invited to that committee meeting so that we can have a conversation about how some other people have done what I'm suggesting here in the county of Essex.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very
Harris.
much.
And usually we respond in writing, but I'd like to respond today. You know, questions are just that, questions, air and sound, moving through the chambers. It is certainly of great interest to this Freeholder Board, that in which you have brought up, which is why legislation is more than just air. Okay, and yes, the Affirmative Action Committee is still up and running, and that's the reason why I've worked very hard on this ordinance along with Freeholder Jones as well as Freeholder Johnson. And again, it's expected to have unanimous support from the entire Freeholder Board as well as the county executive, which is the affirmative action coming out of the Affirmative Action Committee for set aside and joint venture. So, you know, again, that will be listed June 7th. I invite all those who are interested in coming out to listen more about its introduction, And then, of course, inviting those to come out to the meeting, which will be 2 meetings after the 7th, whenever it is expected to pass. So, yes.
Thank you for your leadership, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilwoman?
Thank you. A couple of things came to mind, so I wanted to come back to the mic. First, when you asked about the commercials, you asked about was it reaching, and I will tell you that I was very surprised to see your commercials in various places with the young lady that sits on the stoop, and then she says she's leaving across New York to come into Essex County and go to South Mountain. So when you're sitting down and the TV is watching you, and then you hear about Essex County, you get up and say, hey, they're talking about us. So I believe that the reach is going far.
Great.
Mr. Jackson, as I told you, you inspired me when I seen you in the paper that you didn't wait for anybody else to come clean Montclair up. You got out and you started cleaning up. We will be doing a citywide cleanup in Essex and Orange. And I would love, President, if you come out, we'll be doing it on June 17th. We've named that day Beautification Day in honor of Vivian Gaunt. One of her champions that she would do when she was sitting on council was to beautify Orange. And we want to continue that practice. So we would love everybody in Essex County. I often hear people say that if Essex County was broom swept clean, and in most places it would look like a different county. So we would love to coordinate that, and we would do it through the clerk. I will have Ms. Lanier contact Ms. Davis Ford. And the next thing I would like, because you're on a different network, when you come back to Orange, if you will coordinate with our clerk, Ms. Lanier, so that we can show the meeting on Channel 35. It's one thing to have you here, but we'd love to have it broadcast out on Comcast while you're here as well.
Yes.
And thank you, and we look to see you here more often. You're always welcome.
Thank you so much, Madam President. And you know, actually, they did try to stream us, but unfortunately, there was some technical difficulties.
Okay, so if you get us, we can have our person come in, and we can do it right from our.
Fabulous.
Okay.
And also, I want to thank you for always, reaching out to the Freeholder Board. I've appreciated the different collaborations that we've done over the years, and by far, you are one of the most active, electeds that I know. And we're constantly, seeing each other fighting a good fight, and I just want to put that on the record for you. So thank you for your leadership.
Leadership #1, teamwork is a dream work. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? Please come forward. You're welcome. More than welcome.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just very briefly, my name is Che Coulter. Last time I spoke as a past student athlete. This time I'm just speaking briefly as a district leader from Newark. I noticed that with the media initiative that came up today, or the media item, it can become intra-county. Is that correct? That's what the director said. I was thinking, and some folks in my district that work particularly as electricians, brick masons, and a couple of pipe fitters that live in West Orange, they were asking me if I knew anything or could point them in the right direction of the future developments at the Xanadu project in the Meadowlands. And in some of my brief light research, I see that a tip of the Meadowlands area touches Montclair. And I know that Ms. Toro has done good work over there in Montclair, Bloomfield area. But if we could, this body potentially look into how Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders could have a stronger posture with that Meadowlands dynamic that's taking place there. A friend of mine who she'll remain nameless, works with the New Jersey Sports Exposition Authority that owns the Meadowlands, and they were saying, Shay, Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders are more than welcome to come over and be a part of that conversation. I don't know if their perspective is that it's such a small piece of our county that's a part of their zone, so to speak, but that portion is still constitutionally significant. And I think that it could give us some leverage to maybe do some other things that we might not have done in the past. They're going to be finalizing 51 seconds. They're going to finalize all of the financing for the Xanadu project. It's called something different. It's called like the Dream Park of America or something to that effect, but they're finalizing all of the financing mid-June, and my goal is just for Essex County residents to be able to work over there, as well as they have a flea market that's year-round for Essex County small businesses to work with the Affirmative Action Small Business Office in the Hall of Records building to know that since a tip of our county is there, that they can participate in the economic opportunities at the Meadowlands, particularly. If not this year, next year, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that information. And your questions, will certainly be in touch via writing. And anyone else who did speak and have questions, we will also respond in writing, as is also our practice. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on any issue at all? Okay, hearing none, closing public comment session, opening up freeholder comment session. Okay, Freeholder Luciano.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to put a shout out on the record to my friend, Councilwoman Donna Williams. It was about 10 years ago I sat in class with her as a labor candidate before both of us were elected. And it's always nice to see, first of all, women in government, and second of all, labor candidates that actually succeed. And I can tell you, she took all the knowledge from that course that we took together, sitting next to each other, and she's been the high vote getter here in the city of Orange. So I just wanted to put that on the record. It's nice to see it again, Donna.
Yeah.
So thank you, Madam President.
Absolutely, she's Councilwoman Williams is amazing, and I appreciate her very much. And Freeholder Luciano, in the beginning of the meeting, I just wanted to mention, not to end on a solemn note, but that we could do a moment of silence for your dearly departed friend, Mujahid Henry. Freeholders, any other comments? All right, motion to adjourn?